and welcome back to another weekly reading vlog. Today it is Monday the 29th of June. It's the second to last day of June and it's going to be a fun week, I think. Maybe not a lot of reading because tomorrow I am going back up to York to move out of my uni flat and put everything in storage because I don't move into my new flat for a few months yet. So I will be up there from Tuesday to Thursday and we'll be putting a lot of my books into storage, which is really sad. I wanted to bring them all home and put them all on my shelf, but my mum's car's not big enough, sadly. So they're going into storage, but it'll be fun and I'll bring you along for that, hopefully. So that's exciting. But what am I going to be reading this week? I don't know. I don't know yet. I'm torn between two. I want to start something quite small and hopefully something I can get through quite quickly because I pre-ordered my most anticipated book for the year. It's about thieves in an underground world in Paris. Love it. Apparently it's a Les Miserables retelling, but I don't know that story, so that doesn't bother me. But if it does bother you, anyway, I'm sure you've probably already heard of it because it's everywhere. It's had so much promotion, but it's A Court of Miracles. I can't remember the author's name right now. I'll look it up. Kester Grant, and it has been released for quite a while now. I pre-ordered it way back when and got my Waterstones exclusive, was very excited, but obviously I thought I would still be in York at this point, so I pre-ordered it to the York store, so I haven't got it yet, but we will be picking it up this week, so that's exciting. So maybe I'll take you along to that. We've got a lot of potentially exciting things happening in this vlog. Well, is that exciting? I think that's exciting. First time in a bookstore since lockdown began, which is very exciting. But two books that I'm thinking of reading at the moment, I'm torn between the two. I don't know what to do. Maybe I'll put a poll on my Instagram, see what people say. But we have 1,000 Ships by Natalie Haynes. I've just filmed it, so it should be up before this vlog's up. My wrap up for June. I'm very into my mythology at the moment. I've read 2 mythology books in the last month, so maybe not very, but it is inspired an interest, a new life for my interest of Greek mythology, and I'm very interested to see what this is because I just read the Song of Achilles and it was a very different retelling to the Iliad than The Sons of the Girls by Pat Barker, which is what I've also read. So I'll be interested to see how it's retold in this one because I think this is a collation of points of view of loads of different women from the Trojan War. So either that one or My Dark Vanessa, which I've also been really wanting to... Oh, there's a sticker on it. Don't you hate it when they put stickers on books? It's so annoying. Okay, that won't come off. I'll spend some time taking it off in a minute. This follows a girl who was statutory raped when she was younger, but she believed at the time that it was a romance and that it was true love. However, 30 years later, I believe, when she's 30, the man who did it, who was her teacher at the time, has been arrested for statutory rape of a different girl, and she has to kind of come to terms with the fact that she was raped. So I think it's meant to be a really hard-hitting book and quite difficult and uncomfortable to read. Maybe it would be good to read alongside another book so you can take breaks from it. I'm not sure. So those are my two options. I'll let you know what the poll says because I'm going to do a poll. We'll see what it is. I'm very impatient though. I can't always wait for the polls to end, so then I start reading one of the books and then the poll says something different, but we'll stick with the poll this time. So yeah, that's my plan. I shall get back to you when I've got the poll results. Hello, so it's currently Friday. So I know, I'm so bad at these weekly reading vlogs. I will get better at being more consistent and kind of coming in and giving you better updates, but to be fair, well, I had planned to have some nice like kind of b-roll going on and I took my camera and everything, and guess who was the numpty that forgot the memory card? Me! I forgot the memory card. So yeah, on Tuesday I went up to York to collect all my stuff, put most of it in storage, bring some back and kind of clean up and move out of my accommodation, and it took a heck of a lot longer and it was a little bit more stressful than I was expecting it to be because basically it was disgusting and the people that had been living there like for the last month or so hadn't cleaned up at all, so it was pretty gross. I'm not even gonna go into it because it was gross, but yeah, my mum was a saviour and she basically helped do all that, so clap for mum. But yeah, it was a little bit stressful. We didn't really have as much free time as we were hoping to have because we were kind of making it a little bit of a like mini holiday break, even though it's not because we couldn't go anywhere, but we got takeaway, it was fine. So I didn't manage to do any of the writing I was hoping to do because I am doing Camp NaNoWriMo this month, and I was hoping obviously to start that on the 1st. I have yet to start it, so something I am wanting to do today is to get started on that project and actually get some writing down. Hopefully that will happen. And I also didn't get any reading done, so I did do that poll and then it didn't finish in time for me to go into York, so I just picked whatever the one that was the highest at the time. But let me just check actually what did win. The one I didn't start is the one that won. So 1,000 Ships actually won, but I didn't start that. I actually started My Dark Vanessa, currently on page 73, and I'm really enjoying it. So, well, not really enjoying it, but I'm really I feel involved in it already. Like I already feel kind of like I want to keep reading, like I'm thinking about it even when I'm not reading it, which is always a good sign with a book. I think if you can't not think about it, then it's going well. So I'm already quite invested in the story and I want to see what happens, and I want to keep reading, which is great. Does anyone have tips to get rid of this sticky stuff? Because I can't get rid of it. It's kind of that like silicone-y cover. So if anyone has tips of getting like sticker residue off the kind of silicone-y type covers, that would be helpful. But if not, no worries. So yeah, get more into that when I've read a little bit more. But what I'm going to do now actually is I brought back quite a few of the books I had at York. I didn't bring most of my actually uni books back because we didn't want to weigh the car down too much. So these are mainly just kind of like the fantasy stuff that I had bought over the past 2 years I suppose at uni, and I'm going to try and fit them on my shelves somehow. So if I show you, I'm going to do like a little time lapse, that's the plan anyway. And if I show you my shelves at the moment, I can tell you my plan. We'll go from there. So this is my main big shelf, like it's one of those IKEA ones. There's pretty much an empty shelf at the bottom there, so a lot, well, hopefully a lot can do there. These are the books that I have to put into the shelves, and yeah, I did buy some more books and Waterstones. I'll show you those in a minute actually as well. And then I moved my, I moved my DVD rack over here, even though I don't have anything to watch DVDs on. So my plan also, if they don't fit on there, is to get rid of all the DVDs and put like paperbacks on here, because I think they'll fit more than hardbacks. So that's the plan. But I also have quite a few little shelves around my room. So I have this one which is new. I got this for my birthday, and this is my TBR shelf at the moment because it doesn't hold that many books. But whatever kind of books I'm really wanting to read at the moment, they'll go on this shelf here. It's a bit dark, let me brighten that up. There we go. So Legacy of Ash, I'm halfway through, still haven't finished it. Started reading that over a month ago. Then we've got 1,000 Ships, A Court of Miracles, which I just picked up and I'm so excited to get to it. And then we've got The Empire of Gold, which is the 3rd book in the David Bad trilogy, which is one of my favourite trilogies so far. Obviously I haven't finished it, but it is amazing, definitely recommend. And then we've got the 3rd book in the Throne of Glass series, which I'm rereading at the moment, and then the 3rd book in the Hero of Ages series, which I'm also needing to finish. So we have a lot of trilogies to finish at the moment, but they're what I have at the moment. And then over in this side, which you can normally see in the background of my videos, I just have this little shelf. It's like a mini IKEA shelf, and I'm thinking of putting like my limited edition, oh sorry I've got makeup on my hand, like limited edition books here, or all the like fancy hardbacks, or like my favourite looking hardbacks, just because that'll look nice in videos I think, but we shall see. And then finally over in this corner I have my reject shelf. It's not a reject shelf necessarily because I don't like the books, but it doesn't display the books in the best way. So the books that I kind of like, my childhood books or books that I'm not really interested in at the moment, they go on this shelf. So a lot of secondhand books that people have like donated to me, like from family, and things that aren't really my kind of type of book, but I felt bad for like not having them, they go there. Or books that I want to give away to charity but I haven't got around to actually organising it, they go in there as well. So those are my shelves. This is the main one. This is the one that will look the prettiest hopefully at the end, and that's the goal. So I'll get going with that and I shall get back to you. So I finished the bookshelf reorganisation. I don't know how those clips turned out because I feel like I redid it like 10 times and changed my mind and reorganised everything, so I hope you like that anyway. But I'll just show you what I've done. So we have over on the main shelf, I've split my fantasy into two, so I've done the hardbacks and then the paperbacks, and I've gone back in hardback order. The first two books are sci-fi, or first three, but I don't know. I haven't read Renegade, so I'm not really sure what genre it fits into, but I think it's kind of, it's like supernatural, isn't it? So I've organised all my fantasy by author last name. So we have, starting with Victoria Aveyard, and then it's in alphabetical order with the last name, and then these last two books are hardbacks, but they're much smaller than normal fantasy hardbacks, so they've just been plonked in here because I don't know where else to put them. So they're in between there, and then we've got the paperbacks but in alphabetical order, and that goes all the way down to here where we've got the start of my classics collection. So before I had all my contemporaries here, and the classics were getting shoved lower and lower down, and I didn't really like that. Like, I like having this more on display because you can't really see it because my desk is here. So I decided to shift the contemporaries to where you'll see in a minute. But here we have the kind of classic books. So we have my Penguin English Library collection, which I've done a whole video on, and then we have the vintage classics editions. I want to collect the rest of the Jane Austen ones because I think they're lovely, but I haven't got them yet. And then we just got one of the Tenant of Wildfell Hall. This is actually, I have 2 editions of this. I haven't read it yet, but I've been given them as gifts, so I've got 2 editions of that. Then we have Angela Carter's Book of Fairy Tales, and this kind of like merges into my Greek classic collection that I'm trying to grow. So we have Stephen Fry's Mythos and Heroes, as well as Sergeant Ships of the Odyssey and the Song of Achilles. So that's that. And then down here we have plenty of space for more books, which we love. And then just here we have all the special editions I have in like children's books. So I have The Secret Garden, Watership Down, Alice in Wonderland's Adventures in Wonderland. Does that? Yeah. And then we have Anne of Green Gables and The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. And then down here we have my collection of peanuts, which is a bit random, but at the end there, that's what we've got. Then we have like, I collect the little, can you see, is it too dark? That might work. So I have just little Lonely Planet guides of all the different places I've been. This is my travel journal. Then we've got kind of uni books here that I don't know how to sort them yet until I've got more. I think I'll do them by publication, like design. So all my Penguin classics will be together, all my vintage classics, and then we've got the Oxford classics and stuff like that. So I'll do them by that, I think. I'm not really sure. And then we just got this big bad boy there, but he's nice there. Then we've got the Tenant of Wildfell Hall again, Great Gatsby, Dracula, The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie and Brave New World. And then we've got kind of like beauty books here that I went through a beauty phase of buying books, and they go there now because I don't really do anything with them. But that's that. And then I decided to move my kind of contemporary all up to this shelf here. Excuse the mess in the rest of the room, I will tidy that later. But at the top we have my very small collection of dystopians. So we've got The Darkest Minds and that stuff. This is one of my favourite books from my teenhood, so I'm going to reread it and film it and see if I love it as much as I did, but that's exciting. And then that's also dystopian, and then we've got the beginning of my contemporary, and I split the contemporary into YA and kind of more adult contemporaries. So yes, we start off with Becky Albertelli, and then we go down to Fangirl, so they're all the paperbacks. It won't stay focused, I'm really sorry. And then we've just got a random shelf of hardbacks because this shelf doesn't move, and it was just a bit bigger than normal, so I put the hardbacks there. And then we've got down to here, I think is where I stopped and started the kind of more adult romances, or not romances, contemporaries. I haven't read this, so I don't actually know if it's adult or YA, so I just put it there. But then we've got Margaret Atwood going down to Lolita. I've put at the end just because it's a different size, and I don't know, I probably should move that into the correct place because it doesn't really matter because it's just random anyway. Yeah, don't know what my thought process there was, but there we go. And then we've got two books that are, I believe, non-fiction. This is a biography of Audrey Hepburn, and this is about how the English language has kind of appropriated their language from everywhere else, which I'm very interested to read, but I haven't got to round 2 yet. If I show you. So it says how the, I can't focus it, hold on. There we go. So it says how English has stolen, snaffled, purfloyed, pilfered and appropriated and looted words from all four corners of the world. So that will be interesting to read, but I'm assuming that is a non-fiction. And then down here I'll fill up with any hardbacks or extra contemporaries that I buy. So that's those two shelves there, which I think are looking much nicer than they were before, so bonus. And then I will fill this back up, but I just kind of wanted them to have a place before I took them out, because I didn't want to have to reorganise the whole thing again, just because when I finished the book. So that's that. And then over here we have the, let me show the lighting. There we go, that's semi better. Still looks a bit dodgy, but okay. So we have my kind of special or nice editions shelf that I have. So we have my Illumina Crate editions of Strange the Dreamer, this Stylus C edition, which is beautiful. So I've moved this out the front because I don't dislike the spine, but I don't love the spine. I mean, it is just a gorgeous book in general. It's got like stenciled edges, which I'm all there for, but I just love the cover, so I've put that on the front. I think it's my favourite cover in the whole entire world, so it's one of my favourite books in the whole entire world too, so would recommend. Then we've got the Legacy of Ash, which I do think has a gorgeous spine, and then I thought this kind of colour combination went west with the blue and the gold that's in these ones, so that's why I put the Queens of Innislea there. And then down here we have my, well, these aren't special editions, they're just beautiful books, so they're there, and they're completely in the wrong order. Oh no, oh no, what was I thinking? Okay, panic over, what a mare. Okay, so sorry about that. And then we've got here my collector's edition of Throne of Glass, my collector's edition of Crescent City, which was for the tour that was meant to happen in the UK, but it got cancelled, but the special book that was to do with it we could still purchase. So there we go. And then we've got my editions of Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. This I need to send back because I literally got it the other day and it's literally broken. Can you see, like, it's ripped there, which I'm not happy about, but again I just needed to see that it's got a space, and then I we'll swap it hopefully. But there we go. And then we have like a collection of short stories that's also from the Greaseverse, and it's just a beautiful book. So yes, I actually have 2 of these, so if anyone wants one, I don't know, let me know and we can see if we can sort something out, because I have 2 of them. So yes. And then at the bottom we have the She Who Must Not Be Named books that are illustrated, but touchy subject, let's just not mention those ones. But then we've got Nevernight, God's Grave and Dark Dawn. Obviously these 2 aren't special edition, they're just the American editions, but I feel like they're special editions to me because they're not what you can get in this country. And then we do have the Waterstones exclusive edition of Dark Dawn, which is beautiful. So it's got Mr. Kinley on the front, and then it's got black sprayed edges. There was one, or did you see it on Instagram? There was one that had like black sprayed edges, but then it had like white stars on it that were like stenciled on, and oh my gosh, it was gorgeous. I wanted that, but it was like really expensive, so I couldn't buy it, but yes, love it. Then we have the Waterstones exclusive edition of A Court of Miracles, which is also beautiful. This is also something I picked up the other day. It's got blue stenciled edges, and if you open it, it's got a lovely cover there. It's absolutely gorgeous. So beautiful there. And then, oh my god, I squashed a book. Oh, I feel like this is all over the place, this little tour, so I'm so sorry. But we have the special edition of Girl Serpent Thorn, which I talked about quite a lot recently, so I won't go over that again. And then we have this beautiful edition. Well, I don't know if, I think the cover's the same, but it is just beautiful anyway. Like, it's so trippy and cool, and yeah, which reflects the book very well. It's quite a heavy book, so I've only read that much, but I definitely want to finish it. I'm just having to take it in spurts. But this is gorgeous, and it's got beautiful gold edges that just kind of, I don't know, they just look lovely. So that is also on here. It was worthy of this shelf. Let's hope you can see me. So yeah, that's all that reorganisation done. Bookshelves are looking beautiful, and I am going to do some writing now, actually, because that needs to be done. Well, I need to sort the rest of my room out because it's looking a bit of a state now. And yeah, do some writing, so hopefully I'll get you back when I've read a bit more and actually done something writing wise. Hello, so it's currently Monday, so again we're outside the weekly reading vlog. I did technically do an update yesterday, but I went to edit the footage and it just wasn't right, so I'm refilming it today. But I've also now finished my Dark Vanessa, whereas yesterday I hadn't, so we're getting the book all in the weekly reading vlog, which is better than, I suppose, splitting over two. But yeah, I finished my Dark Vanessa this morning, and I was right in saying that this is a really kind of mentally taxing and kind of weighty book to read. It's not a stroll in the park, you know what I mean? It's like, it is really thought-provoking, really taxing on your kind of mental state, but just so raw as well. Like, there's so many different kind of sides to abuse and how that has an effect on the victim and their kind of mental state, and especially with this kind of grooming, you can see how he's done it so well that you're frustrated with her for not seeing it, but you can totally understand how she can't see what's happening to her, or she can't see him for what he's really doing. And it's just so believable and eye-opening and understanding, and how that can happen to someone who's so young, and how it can literally affect their entire life, and how long it can take to get over that and to kind of change that mindset that they've been indoctrinated into. This book actually has, at the end of it, it's apparently part of the Waterstones exclusive, so if you bought it in Waterstones, it probably does have this. But it has a little letter from Kate Russell, who's the author, about where she got this inspiration from, how long she's been writing it. She's been writing it for about 15 years, and why she started writing it and stuff like that. So I definitely recommend reading that, because it's a really good insight into what she was trying to get across, and I think she did get it across quite well. Like, she wanted to see the complicated side of being a victim, and how it's not just a straightforward thing when it comes to that kind of side of abuse, and the mental side of it, and just that whole aspect, how you can't always clearly see how you're being manipulated and abused, and especially when the groomers do it so well, like he did in this one, and you can see how he did it and stuff like that. So yeah, it's very thought-provoking, very intense. There's no really kind of light-hearted moments to kind of give you a break from it. It's solidly intense the whole way through. I would have liked to see more of her at the present day kind of timeline. I'd be more interested to see more of about how she kind of starts to overcome it, because she's starting to at the end, but I would just like to have seen it continued a little bit longer, I think, just see where she goes from there. As a reader, like, you always kind of want more, don't you? Another thing I would say is, if you are thinking about reading Lolita but you don't know whether to read this first, I would maybe read Lolita first before reading this. You don't need to have read it to know it, but this is referenced a lot in this book, and I do think you get a better understanding maybe if you read it. Like, I wish I'd read it before, but I haven't, so I'll maybe read it after. But I think the better way around to do it would be to read it before. So if you're thinking of wanting to read that, definitely read it before. But if you're not bothered, then just go straight into this. Maybe you'll want to read it after, I don't know. Kate does say at the end of her thing that this is just one story about one girl, and you know, there's so many out there in the news and everything like that, so is definitely very relevant today. Even just seeing how the bystanders just did nothing. Like her mum, if I was her mum, I would not have reacted like that. I would like to think like, I'd like to think that I wouldn't do that and I would just stand by, especially if it was my own child, that I'd noticed that. Like, yeah, I don't think I would have done what she did. I'd like to have a like really in-deep discussion about it with someone, but who knows. So yeah, that's the end of the vlog. I hope you've enjoyed it, even though it's like barely had any reading in it and just had a really long montage of me organising my bookshelf. Probably no one was interested in anyway, but there you go, it's in there. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see more videos, then please subscribe, and I hope you have a nice day. So I shall see you in the next video.